here we go, but somehow I'm caught in the middle. Is this the end before we've even begun?
Welcome to Born Without Boundaries, Pick a Card. This pick a card focuses on why did they do it? Why? Why did they do it? Because sometimes we just don't understand why. What's really interesting about this particular reading is that it can also answer questions that go deep into unsolved mysteries. So maybe you're not curious about something that happened in your life. You're just curious about why somebody from a famous court trial did what they did and got away with it. You can consult the cards, pick a pile, and get your answers right now, because you need answers right now. So let's use divination and tarot and oracle and faith and get our answers right now. Ask your question, focus, feel, and then choose. You have 4 different piles to choose from. You have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Take your time to make your selection, and I'll see you in the reading. Oh, special shout out to all my Scorpio tribe. Thank you so much for the blessing that is you and all your support of the channel. Cancer, you did a phenomenal job. Capricorn, you always show up. And Aquarius, thank you so much for your continued support as well. I'll see you in the reading. If you were drawn to pile 1, perhaps it was because of this, green agate. This is a heart chakra stone that helps us to broaden and open our heart chakra. Have courage, right? That's where the heart chakra, that's what sits in the heart chakra, our courage, our faith in ourselves. So there's something about this pile, this energy that says courage, have courage. Let's see what's in the cards. Why did they do it? Mental illness, sickness, the mourning and the loss of a death could have been death itself. Lack of justice, a bad decision in court. So right now I could see someone could have gotten away with murder. This could also mean, ultimately, that a bad decision in court stressed them out, worried them, kept them up at night, or their bad decision kept them up at night. Page of Pentacles, a younger man, somebody between the ages of 15 and 25, somebody who was probably a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, but the signs aren't as particular as the description of the person. This is a fair young man, a fair young youth, good-looking young man, out for opportunity in the world. Ace of Wands, looking to make a new start, looking to create something, looking for a breakthrough. Opportunity, wanting and needing opportunity. Looking for fame, looking for fortune, looking for notoriety in the public space. but was struggling with some serious financial issues, did not have money, perhaps was in a relationship with somebody that they were broke with, in relationship with somebody who they were struggling with, not necessarily struggling in the relationship, but struggling in terms of just trying to make it, trying to get there, trying to be supportive of each other, perhaps actually for some reason went homeless. So there is, for this person, an extreme disparity, an extreme gap between what they wanted out of life and what they have in life. So this person definitely felt that the world was cruel, unreasonable, and unfair to them. It could very well have been, depending on your circumstance or situation. It could very well have been true. Reminiscence, longing for home, also an old lover. So a lover from a long time ago. This also tells me that the relationship that they were in could have run cold. It could have eventually gone bankrupt, that they've been in a relationship with their partner for a long time. And essentially, it wasn't working out for them, but they didn't know how to let it go, or they couldn't let it go because they were financially dependent upon the relationship. This is also in some cases, it could very well have been that the only thing they had was the relationship. They held on tight because there was nothing left. Or they longed for a relationship that they had when they were young. They were never able to let go. Cancer. They could very well have been a Cancerian. Cancers are known to not be able to let go very easily. But also, this is a sense of they wanted to make progress. They wanted to move forward with this relationship from the past. They wanted this relationship from the past to work. They wanted to figure out how to have a future with it. This is interesting. But they couldn't. They were stuck between a rock and a hard place. They were confused, and they weren't really seeing the truth. Sort of made yourself blindfolded to the possibilities or the realities in front of them. They may have consulted the occult, tried to cast some spells, work some magic. Unfortunately, so many people turn to magic and spell work to take the easy way out. And in desperation, because everything that they've tried, except looking and facing the truth, has not worked out. So they turn to spell work, and they don't realize that spell work is not actually easier. Spell work is not easier at all. It takes just as much energy, if not more, as mainstream manifestation and hard work, but it's also much riskier because you want quick turnaround. It takes a lot more sacrifice, if you know what I mean. But people don't understand that, and especially novices get into a lot of spell work and without understanding what they're really getting into, being very, very confused. This is also a statement of not knowing how to make things better for yourself, not understanding how to move forward or move on, or being confused as to the steps you take or you should take to help get yourself out of that rut. And then last but not least, the Tower. Everything came falling down. So ultimately, this person was running on desperation, running on this need to have a life that they really almost wanted a shortcut to. They had a mindset of injustice. I don't know why I keep doing that. Or feeling like the world was unjust against them, which could have been in some cases true. And not knowing how to come back from it, and were realizing where the injustice was coming from. And then there was an extreme change. Lots of conflicts, lots of complications, mountains in their way. So legitimate hardship legitimate hardship was part of this person's motivation for what they did. And birds. So once again, social life, chatter, gossip. So there's impeding gossip. There's gossip that maybe never died down or stuck around, or gossip that they couldn't get away from. There's always talk about them. But I think it was like a ringing in their ears. A sense of talk was really causing an impediment for them. So this person, in a lot of ways, I can see right now, is almost becoming animalistic and reacting in a way that an animal that's trapped, like that's how they feel. I can feel it. They feel trapped. They feel like they have no other way out but to do maybe a terrible thing. And then we have somebody who is covetous, somebody who is greedy, somebody who stands on the sideline and looks longingly at something and wants it and wants it and wants it and says, I'm going to get it no matter what. And then we have somebody who kind of needs somebody to come to their rescue. This is a card of faith, standing up to the bad stuff, standing up to the greed, the hate, the complications, the storm clouds, being that one little light beacon of hope in the darkness. So this person had, in some ways, it's like whatever they wanted desperately was their one beacon of light, their one piece of hope in the darkness, of actually hoping to finally get that. Was the one thing that gave them courage, or the one thing that made them not give up. And then this is being stuck, being frustrated, past hurts. Who helps you? Feeling tied and tethered and wrapped up and really having gotten themselves into a really hairy mess. I gotta say, this is coming. I don't know if this is you who needed courage to ask this question, or if this is them, but ultimately, courage was something lacking in this situation, and that's why it needed to be here. Let's look at the animal cards. Humpback whale. Sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. This is probably a water sign. Somebody who was probably very moody and influenced by the messages of the moon. So this person dives in deep, goes down deep. They might have been a singer. They might have had aspirations to sing. But there's also a sense of somebody who needs deep, deep healing, to trust, a connection to the universe that was desperate, if not just absolutely necessary. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. So this person dived in deep and was not about to stop until they got what they wanted. And then dragon, the supernatural. You are the ancient sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. They had high aspirations, like I said. They had high aspirations for themselves. They were also into fantasy. They were into maybe cosplay. They were even just, they had a fantastical way of looking at the world. But they were a mighty person too. There was a power about them. They definitely sought after power. What they needed was healing. What they sought after was power. And in some ways, that was exactly the wrong answer for this. So ultimately, why did they do it? Because they didn't want to face certain realities or truths of themselves. They were desperate. They were driven to this decision. They were talked about. People didn't speak of them well. They felt isolated. And they were kind of obsessed with a specific person or relationship or desire that they coveted more than anything. And ultimately, that led to great destruction in their life. This card, the yellow card, tells me who did it. it tells me a little bit deeper into just sort of the mindset of this person. So they were definitely looking to heal. They were definitely looking to help themselves. They had no other place to go or any other place to go. So they may not have done something bad. They may have actually just up and left in order to find peace, find balance, find some sort of stability in themselves and in their emotional state. It took them a lot of courage to springboard off and out of the crazy life that they were living and to go and look for whatever was going to make them feel like they had peace inside of themselves. Pile 2. This, maybe you were drawn to, is actually tiger's eye, but it's tiger's eye in the raw. It hasn't been tumbled, so it's not shiny. So you probably have a very keen eye for understanding, I don't know, the tiger's eye in the rough. This is a rough strewn tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is a protection stone. It is a grounding stone. It is a stone of protecting you from maybe your own mistakes and protecting you from any kind of hurt or harm in the outside world. So already it seems like this person's motivation was some sort of self-defense. Let's get into the reading. Cold, objective decision-making. Cold, objective intellect with a drive forward, toward moving forward. This is probably a woman. It doesn't have to be, but certainly a female presence, somebody that has been hurt, that's gone through a great deal of suffering in their lives. And so they've cut themselves off emotionally from not necessarily the whole world, but they've cut themselves off emotionally because of all the hurt. They don't want to feel the pain anymore. And so with cold objectivity, they move forward. An offer. Making somebody an offer, giving to charity, acting supportive. This is opportunity. So with cold objectivity, they pursued opportunity. They could have even in some ways been involved in charity. They were motivated by, giving to people who were less fortunate, or maybe helping people who had been through circumstances or situations like themselves. Page of Wands is looking for new opportunity, motivated by the possibility, the potential for. This could also be in some ways sexual motivation, simply just a one-night stand type of energy. So somebody who maybe had a lot of one-night stands, who gave to the poor a lot, like solicited a lot of offered up a lot of hookups, had a lot of one-night stand hookups, kept themselves at a distance, at an emotional distance, and instead decided to settle for a lot of one-night stand hookups. But then there's also this energy of this person that they want to create opportunity. They want to open up space for people who don't have opportunity and give them opportunity to start a whole new life for themselves. So this person is either offering other people a new start, trying to open up doors for other people, motivated by hurt or suffering that they went through themselves, and trying to turn that around into ways to open up doors for other people, change other people's life, or to change their life, to sort of get away from any hurt or suffering that they had in their past, and instead open up doors, open up opportunities, and start a new life. Ace of Cups is love. This was a new love opportunity that came in for this person. A new choice, a new chance for a new relationship, a new chance to love again, which could have caused a lot of fear, in this person, especially if they had been hurt in the past. But ultimately, it's like they wanted love to be an answer. They wanted love to be part of the answer, or they got an opportunity for new love because they had been hurt. They were looking, maybe all they did was look at sort of like they were just living their life on one night stand hookups for a while because they wanted to avoid pain and suffering. But ultimately, new love came into their lives and inspired them. Movement, action. They had to take action. They had to take action on something that had to do with the heart and the home space. So moving their home, moving where there's movement here, moving their home, moving where they thought they should be, taking action maybe even to defend their home. From pettiness, from disease, from suffering, from whatever was hurting them. Some sort of home environment this person was coming from that was filled, that was kind of like decrepit and crumbling down. Maybe even in some ways impoverished. So poverty is playing a big role here. And then last but not least, so this is the Scythe card. Being done, having things over, endings. They wanted to end a cycle of abuse. This person was highly motivated by ending a cycle of abuse or suffering that they had been put through in their youth. And this Queen of Swords comes out because ultimately that's not necessarily who they are. They may not be an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini, but ultimately they became emotionally distant and just hard ass and objective because of all the pain that they went through. And this pain came from having to suffer through a lot of hardship and abuse in their home. And so they were motivated by just get the out of there, get the hell out of there. They wanted love to be the answer. They wanted love in their life, and they really did change their life around so that their life now had love and opportunity and possibility. And one of the main reasons, one of the main mechanisms they used to help themselves change their life around was ultimately charity. Opening up opportunities for other people, helping other people who had been through what they had been through. And so this was a primary motivation for why they did it. They did it to make the world a better place. They did it to heal themselves. They were motivated to do good and to get away from the abuse and the suffering and sort of the extreme dysfunction that they had to grow up in. Also, probably messages from their home like, you could never do it. You'll never be worth it. There's no way that you're going to be able to do it or get this done. We don't believe in you. So they were highly motivated. They came from a place of hurt and suffering, and they were able to turn their life around. Friends. So in other words, friends have your back. But see, the bee with the stinger is at the back, right? Protection from friends, motivation from friends. Maybe it was friends, not family, that actually helped them out or had their back. Finding a group of people that encouraged them and supported them and made their life fun could have been one of the sort of shining stars or constant inspiration for them. And then we have, yes, being hopeful, being dreamlike, also fairy-like. So it could be very Aquarian energy, seeing the world in a different way, seeing the world in a broad-minded way, in a way that was almost idyllic. Even though that they had suffered a lot, there was a sense of this person having a mind that says things could get better. I have hope. There's a place for me to go. There's wonderment in this world, seeing the magic and seeing the wonderment in the world. Oh boy. Puffin partnership. Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. So it could very well have been that partnership or love motivated this person. I mean, you definitely have the World card and the Ace of Cups, which means in some ways love changed their world or they changed their world for love. So this is partnership and healing through a connection to other people. This is also, Puffin is a very strong family. right? And clearly there's a sense of dysfunctional family here. So ultimately how they changed their world was they moved from a world of abuse and suffering to love. And then we have polar bear, mystic. Know that challenges make you stronger. Have faith when you have adversity. So this person was strong with their faith, strong with their belief that the world could get better, even in almost like a stubborn, relentless belief, like an insistence upon the world being a better place than what they experienced in their early life. And in insisting, they created the world that they wanted to live in. Ultimately, we have ram, perseverance. They were not going to give up. But these two energies, this person's faith was relentless. This person's faith was through the roof, off the hook. So much faith that in a lot of ways, maybe they did help to change the world. They helped to restore faith to the world and to give to people who had lost faith or had lost hope, because they'd been there. They came from a place where they knew the way out, and they were just not, they're going to show you the way through. Like a ram is like Aries. I'm going to take action. I'm going to get this done relentlessly. There's no way that I'm not going to achieve this. And then we have peacock, which is vibrancy. And isn't this interesting that it came out for group 2? Because group 2 this is really somebody who had to rise from the ashes. This is very scorpionic energy. And we have the scythe card as well, remember. So there's an energy here of somebody who remade themselves from the ashes. Like their life was in shambles, completely destroyed, and they found a way to change their world and use that destruction to heal and help, and then become somebody that was beautiful and seen worldwide as beautiful. But this person's motivation was not to be beautiful or to be seen. It was to heal, to help, and make the world a world of love. And in some ways, they had to start out by cutting themselves off, closing themselves off from the world, or at least a part of the world, and just move forward with laser sharp precision. That's that Queen of Swords energy. Laser sharp precision, not feel so much. But in some ways, they may have started out kind of cutting their feelings off, but in the help that they gave to the world, in the support that they gave to the world, they healed themselves. They found a partnership, either with one person in particular or their world, or found a way to heal sort of their family sicknesses, and ultimately move on and help to, help to create a world of love and abundance. Now, this final card, this yellow card, is kind of a glimpse into exactly who this person is. And holy shit, new beginnings. This person was lithe and agile, could have been an air sign, but ultimately this person was a lovely testament to faith. Somebody who just needed to start their life over. You also have that peacock energy. Somebody who relentlessly believed in a new start and how that could lead to a new life. Somebody who just needed to begin again, to hit reset. Because let's face it, y'all, we are not always born with the life that we deserve. It's not just the life that we want, but the life that we deserve. There are a lot of people in this world that are born into situations that are not happy. Abused children, suffering children, people who were raised in foster care, people who start out in their first marriage as a domestic violence. It's like there are circumstances and situations that people cannot control. But this person had the faith and the fortitude to start again. And this is tiger's eye. Maybe in their life, they needed a lot of protection for their person and for themselves. But ultimately, they were able to find it. And in some ways, become that protection for other people. Become that safe haven. And this, it's so lovely. Because if you really look at this, what was it? I said from the beginning, right? This is a tiger's eye in the rough. So you will not outwardly, in the beginning, many people couldn't see this person's value. In the beginning, looking at this, they just looked like a chunk of impractical and unimpressive rock. And they didn't, most people would not have realized what the beauty of this person and what their potential was and what their strength and ferocity was. Most people would have looked right past this person. But this person didn't look right past themselves. And that was their reason for doing it. Why did they do it? To change the world, to change their life, to heal, love, to make the world a better place, because they knew that they deserved better. That's why they did it. I love you guys. If you're curious, check out another pile. Group 3. Okay, group 3. Now this is tiger's eye, and it's really beautiful. This is tumbled tiger's eye. And you can see the different striations. Fascinating. It is tiger's eye, of course, because it looks like that beautiful orange yellow of the tiger's eye. It has a ferocity about it, and it gives you strength. It gives you power. It gives you power from within, and it also protects you. In some ways, it gives you the strength to protect yourself. It's also a very magical stone. It was used in ancient Egypt, so maybe this person had a connection to ancient Egypt. I don't know. Let's see. Whew. So we have abundance, beauty, resources. Now, the Empress is like all the queens wrapped into one. This is a person who has lived many lives, who has a lot of experience and has grown to amass a great deal of strength and courage and resources, but not just in terms of 3D, like, oh, she's got money, but she's got abundance because she does embody the Queen of Pentacles, but she also embodies the Queen of Cups, which means she has a lot of empathy and she has learned a lot of compassion and caring in her life, and she's not afraid to give it. And she's also learned a lot of cool intellect and objectivity from this Queen of Swords stage in her life. And then she also has that Queen of Wands stage in her life where she's very passionate and she's very proactive and she has courage to move her life forward. So the Empress is somebody who has it all or wants it all. Let's see. It's interesting. I was called to pick that off the deck, but now I'm supposed to, for some reason, pick off the bottom of the deck. This is illusion. Somebody who sets the illusion of having it all. Somebody who maybe intentionally wants to dissuade people, or, I mean, not dissuade, intentionally wants to deceive people, to keep the truth from about who they are. Somebody who depends on public approval, happiness, abundance, cheering people on, the crowds cheering her on, celebrating a lot to celebrate about, kind of celebrates stuff a lot. This is a partnership that this person has, a true love, maybe even a wedding. This person may be somebody who is in a lot of ways delusional about their relationship. They celebrate a false relationship or a false sense of this relationship. They kind of need this relationship in some ways to be wonderful and abundant. This also is somebody who could have in some way, because these two cards could represent marriage. So this person could have had a false marriage or faked a marriage, been motivated in some ways by what the marriage and the connection could give to them. And then we have death card. So this is actual death when the death card is in reverse. So I'm really sorry for anybody who experienced this or knows this person, but ultimately there's some sort of delusion here. I would think that maybe this person could not get over the death of a loved one, or in some ways, I don't know, maybe couldn't get over their own death. Ultimately, this is an ending to a relationship that in a lot of ways they did not want over. This is an ending to maybe not a person, but definitely a relationship or a marriage that they did not want to be over. And so they became very delusional about it, in denial. And then we have Judgment card. So this is judgment on high, almost like having a sense of a heightened awareness, like it maybe gave them a delusional kind of cultish mentality of like, this is my motivation. I have to do this. Like, in other words, they became very religious, very, very religious. To relieve heavy burdens from themselves. And those heavy burdens were this relationship that they did not want to let go of. And maybe they made a good decision, you know, because they needed some sort of support or help or direction, taking direction from somebody on high. And then the Hanged Man, somebody who just wanted to, they wanted enlightenment. They were seeking enlightenment. They were struggling very hard with a circumstance in their life that they were having a hard time letting go of. And ultimately, they were seeking enlightenment. They were also very kind of, in some ways, stuck. They wanted to change, but maybe didn't know the right way to go about it. And then last but not least is a happy ending. So they wanted a place to belong to. They wanted a family to belong to. They wanted to be able to have happiness. They wanted their happy ending. So this person, what really concerns me is this card. I can tell you that right now. It's almost like somebody who never wanted to let go of a relationship because they needed to have something to hold on to. It could very well also have been the mentality of somebody who, it could have been they were just disappointed in a relationship. For me, this feels like somebody who may have gotten into a cult or a religion, a strict religion, because they wanted to belong somewhere. They wanted a sense of belonging and a sense of happiness and a sense of enlightenment. And in some ways, they went about it in a desperate way, simply because there was just this like there was something delusional. It's like delusional about a relationship that was really going nowhere, a relationship that had ended, but they could never really let go. That's what is their key motivator. They wanted to look on the outside like they had everything, or they were attracted to somebody who on the outside looked like they had everything, because this person in a lot of ways thought that they were heading into a very perfect relationship, but ultimately there was this sense of imminent death, being led to imminent death. I don't know what happened to this person, but it doesn't really seem like they were led into a very good place. Though in some ways, their soul, they wanted their soul to be redeemed. I guess that's what it is. It's like, it's like I want my soul to have a happier place or have a happier existence after I leave. Yeah, they're highly motivated by just, it's like they need connection. They're desperate for connection, for healing a sorrow, a sadness deep inside their soul. And religion is something that actually helps to relieve this burden for them. Religion or faith or basically a hope for something better, a hope for redemption. This person could in some ways have been trying to redeem themselves after they ended a relationship or ended a marriage. In some ways wanting to restore peace and happiness and try to find their way. This person had a very difficult time finding their way after the loss of this relationship that was so important to them. Moon card. So this is shadows. This is definitely secrets or the unknown, or kind of like being lost in their mind. Could also be lunacy or insanity. This is the key to opening up. This is opening up their lunacy and their insanity. In some ways, lunacy and insanity was their initiation into this world of hope. So of aspiration, of what they desperately wanted to happen. So like shooting for the stars, but through a fog. So their key maybe out of those secrets was hope. But ultimately, I feel like they were sort of delusional in what they thought would get them to that better place. And then I have tree, which is growth and growing and development. Thinking like they had high hopes for they had a delusional way of getting to what they aspired to be. And then last but not least, this is definitely a female. I mean, we're getting this double whammy. This is the queen of, this is the empress. So there's something like maybe they were delusional about their relationship with a female, or they were a female themselves, but ultimately it's like they wanted some sort of relationship or growth with this beautiful woman, but in a lot of ways they were completely deluded. Like they thought that they had a relationship with somebody that actually didn't really exist, or in some ways they did have a relationship with somebody that they could never let go of. There was some sort of maybe obsession with a woman, or this or an obsessed woman. They're not necessarily dealing with a completely full deck. They had high hopes of being somebody who either got this woman's attention or was a woman that got attention, sort of wanting to be, I don't necessarily see wanting to be seen as a great beauty, but not necessarily having a clear understanding of who they really were, or who they were really aspiring to be, or who they aspired for, who they wanted to have in their life. Oh boy. With these two cards, there's a lot of mental illness here. I could just say that right now. Ooh, these readings are surprising me. So this is somebody who needs to believe in themselves. This is believing in yourself. This could be with witchcraft, but not necessarily at all. This is definitely like you have the ability to do this, finding a way to do it. This is somebody who is, once again, very attracted to kind of fantasy in some way. Puts on their best face, puts on their best show, decides that putting on their best face, their best robes, their best clothes, showing up and presenting them in a fantastic way, themselves in a fantastic way, is going to sort of elevate them or get them to a better place. And then last but not least, that's how they fight their battles. That's how they protect themselves. That's how they defend themselves, by showing up and pretending like they're all good, like they have everything they need, that they have everything that they want, like this is their way through, like I have money when I don't, kind of thing. Like they really are somebody who, that's how they defend themselves. That's how they protect themselves. They're always ready for battle. Or and the reason and how they do it is by making themselves look like more than, there's somebody who makes themselves look like they have more than they do. But ultimately there's a self-defense there, or some sort of defensiveness. At the very least, this person is definitely gearing up for some sort of battle. B, community. You are a powerful creator. Your work blesses everything you've touched. So this is abundance. This person wants a great deal of abundance. This is almost like the Sun card. They're definitely after not just abundance in terms of world abundance, though. Remember, they want happiness. But they're also prideful, because this is Leo energy. They do have a lot of courage, and they probably want a lot of public recognition. I wouldn't be surprised if this person was in some sort of entertainer, because that could be what the moon and the stars are too, as well as just working in illusion, or working in costuming, or some sort of industry that is like the entertainment industry, that it creates illusion. But in a lot of ways, this person needed this pomp, needed this glamour. They needed glamour. This person is a glamour. Not necessarily, they needed glamour. They needed the look. They needed the crowd, the curb appeal. They needed that to sort of mend their broken self. Elk, nobility. Celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. So this is, they definitely want to be seen as somebody who has integrity. They want to be seen as maybe somebody in some ways like a Meghan Markle, because she's a Leo who married into royalty. They needed to associate themselves with what they believed was the highest sense of social status. And then we have wolf or pathfinder. Oh, this person was definitely a climber. Release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. And in a lot of ways, they have this mindset of, if I can do it, anybody can do it. But they do have a false sense of self. They definitely, this goes along with the moon card. They walk in the shadows. There's a shady aspect to them, and they are motivated in a lot of ways by fear, but ultimately they need to associate themselves with something that is very, very publicly recognized. In order to compensate for what they don't feel inside, they need that sort of level of public grandiosity. But this is definitely somebody who's a climber. Started from the bottom and came up in whatever way they had to in order to get everything that they wanted. And this would have been somebody who in some ways kind of associated themselves with a family, with a connection. This would have been somebody who got to where they got through associating them through marriage. A marriage that might have been a fake marriage, pretend marriage, a marriage not for the right reasons, but they definitely climbed their way up climbed their way up through the ranks in that capacity. And this is looking to be a woman. I don't usually get like sex specific, but with that Lenormand card for the woman and with the Empress, this is looking to be somebody who is female, or like I said, wanted to accumulate or be in connection to a female, but it's looking more like a female. And then we have dolphin, play, swim in the happy joy of living, inhale confidence and exhale fear. This is really interesting. It's almost like on the surface, this person wants to seem like they're happy-go-lucky and that nothing is ever wrong. It's almost like they do want us to believe. They want us to see what's on the surface. That's where they're putting they're directing most of our attention, is on the surface, on the surface, on the surface. Look, I'm happy. My life is beautiful. I'm playful. And in a lot of ways, they maybe actually have in some ways been able to reach a state inside themselves where they can be happier and more playful, but there was no way that they were going to do it without achieving their goals. Like they had to achieve their goals to feel any kind of happiness or stability in life. The achievement of those goals, they pursued relentlessly, because ultimately that was the only thing that was going to be able to make them happy. This person is driven by a deep, deep sense of ego and insecurity. Last but not least, because this represents ultimately summarizing who this person is, you definitely have some sort of fire sign, probably a female, somebody who will do anything to change their life. Anything. So, and somebody who cut off her past in order to get what she wanted. She was fierce. She was definitely fierce. This woman had major intent. She was like a warrior woman. She was not going to give up. She may be some kind of a fighter herself. Definitely agile, definitely beautiful, definitely fierce. She wants you to be in some ways intimidated by her. And you see the moon behind her too. She does work in shadow, not necessarily like shadow work or magic necessarily, but ultimately this person is fiercely determined to change where she came from, cut ties from where she came from, and make herself into what she sees herself as, and make sure the public sees her exactly as she sees herself. But this is not where she started out as. So in my mind, this is very Leo energy, Leo woman. I'm thinking of somebody like Meghan Markle or Jennifer Lopez, somebody who came from a different place. I don't think Jennifer Lopez cut ties with her family. I think she's still very close to them. But ultimately, I'm saying she just like cut ties with the past or wherever she started and invented or created the persona that she needs you to believe and that she believes herself. This is Tiger's Eye, ancient Egypt, like literally somebody who has almost like goddess, like a god complex, like a goddess complex about them. They're not necessarily evil, they're not necessarily bad, but that's what they're motivated by. That's why they did it. If you're curious, check out some other piles. See what you're called to. Bye, guys. Pile 4. All right, guys, you were drawn to this little beautiful soft yellow stone. And ultimately, look at the shape. Yeah, it's definitely a lovely citrine, but it's a light, delicate citrine, and it's in the shape of a heart. So this is hopefulness, aspiration, wanting to, like almost like an unrelenting hope, something that keeps you motivated, keeps you going, a purity of spirit in some ways. So let's get into the reading. Okay. Knight of Cups. And this is like Galahad energy. So this is hopeful. This is a purity of spirit. Galahad was, if you know the Arthurian legends, the one with the most pure heart, pure soul, the perfect soul. He was Lancelot's son with Lancelot's legitimate wife, Elaine. So he was born of like a in terms of Christian faith, Christian pure, like he was a accepted, a child born under the right circumstances, born under God's blessing, christened, etc. But ultimately, Galahad represented the perfect state of humanity, delivering an offering, and that's why he was the one that was able to find the Holy Grail. So this is a person with a lot of hope, sets out maybe in a pilgrimage, a lot of faith, but ultimately love is what they're in pursuit of. Love is an offer of love, or giving an offer of love, motivated by offering love. But there's some sort of confusion here. Maybe offering too many loves, or not knowing who to choose from. Sort of a not just a Galahad, but maybe a what do you call it? The famous lover. This dog is like howling, like, please pay attention to your animal. My neighbors are crazy. But oh, the name is on the tip of my tongue. The famous romancer. I think he was Italian. Like, not Cyrano. I keep seeing Cyrano. Maybe that's why I keep hearing Cyrano. This is a lover who somehow had to hide behind a mask, had to hide behind illusion. But this is also sort of delusional, confused, not being able to choose, having many offers that none of them that really impress you that much, or just not being able to choose between what you actually want. But I feel like there's not necessarily deception, just as confusion, like some sort of confusion here. I don't know. Let's go on to the next card. Good luck. They had good luck. So they may not have known what they started out with. When they started off, they might not have had direction. They may have been confused. They may not have known which way to go. But ultimately, there's some sort of karma that was on their side. Interesting. They were guided by faith. This is really Galahad energy. This person was motivated by faith, guided by faith, just a connection to the infinite, a connection to love. This is also psychic power, psychic ability, somebody who is really connected with the universe and very balanced in their connection with the universe. I don't know if this is a religious person, a spiritual person, just somebody that has sort of insights the rest of us don't. But why did they do it? They did it out of faith. They literally were pursuing, or had this strong sense of what was right, the right thing to do. This is once again a hermit energy, exploration. But as soon as I saw this is Virgo energy, finding the way, opening up the path, working relentlessly to get there. The hermit is a pilgrim. That's what he is. He proceeds in faith. This is somebody who brings their own light. Look at, they bring their own light. They bring their own love. They bring their own light. They bring their own love. This is faith and love. Motivated by faith and love. Wow, Galahad is right. And that's really all they needed. these are 4 cards that came out for this person. They were motivated by faith and love, as well as, like the path. This is interesting because the path was not clear for them. They really, when they started out, they didn't know which direction they were going to head in. They just followed the way this is literally how the universe called them. They followed the call of the universe. They didn't know where they were being led. They just trusted where they were being led. Of all the readings, in some ways, this shocks me the most. I don't know why, but it's true. Prosperity, abundance, financial wealth, financial happiness and abundance, amassing a great deal of money or financial wealth by yourself, like really kind of like all by yourself. They did it. They just were able to construct something out of nowhere. I'm not sure that this was a motivation for them, but it definitely was something that they did or were able to do. And then we have garden, which is your social network, your social life, cultivating a specific loving your social life, being well liked, being popular, being well loved, and somebody who sort of is admired for amassing a great deal of wealth, or for sort of like opening up abundance to everybody else, but doing it themselves, finding a way toward a lot of public. But see, they weren't motivated by public notoriety, but eventually they got it. They really did. It's like they weren't chasing public notoriety, but they got it. This is interesting. Crossroads. So this is having a lot of options. And then of course, bouquet is this person is really well liked and well loved. And they have a lot of options socially. They could have also been somebody who had a lot of relationships, like literally been motivated by, but their motivation, remember how I said Galahad, and then we had the 7 of Cups, so a lot of different relationships, a lot of different selections, a lot of different choices, in a way that they were motivated by curiosity. They were motivated by, that's what their motivation was. Why did they do it? Curiosity, faith, and they just followed in faith. That's what they did. They allowed themselves to experience their experiences. They set out on the road like Galahad, and they just allowed whatever came to them to come to them. They were motivated by faith. They were connected to spirit. They let spirit guide them and lead them. And in so many ways that they just had this really big, abundant heart that kind of inspired a lot of people, and in some miraculous way amassed a great deal of wealth. They are, in a lot of ways, a great example of what happens when you follow the universe's call. It may not have even seemed in the beginning to people, might have seemed like they were completely insane. What are you doing? But it's like they heard a call and they just followed it. And they just went where the day took them, and they always followed their happiness. They always followed their heart. They always let their heart be their guide. And ultimately, they kind of created this, maybe opened up a lot of doors for a lot of other people as well. So this is kind of starting out thinking, what is it that you really want? Because I think they were a little bit misguided. Definitely, what is it that you really want? What is your real motivation here? Not really knowing, or in some ways maybe being a little bit foggy or confused at first. But definitely being guarded and protected. This person was protected. This person was divinely protected. I can tell you that right now. Protected from all the things in life that could kind of keep them down. Okay. They were, but what is, let's keep going. This is finding your way, finding the path through the dark. This is also, once again, being supported and being protected. This person could very well have been motivated by opening up paths for other people, protecting other people along their way. It's like opening up a path to happiness, opening up the path to religious abundance and faith, or opening up the path to faith, or opening up the road to God. It's almost like this person was kind of like trying to guide people or lead people to a better place. Finding a great deal of balance in giving, or creating a great deal of balance, or in their life they had to find a great deal of balance. They may have gone through some pretty tricky situations. You know, it's like always like a crapshoot of I don't know which direction I'm going in, and just dealing with things moment to moment and being protected because they just sort of had faith that they were going to have that safety net underneath them. And yes, this person was in a lot of ways protected by their friends. They had a lot of support. They had a lot of, not necessarily public, but in some ways they always inspired people to help them, to be able to draw people around them and get people to really love them and like them and believe in what they did, even though in some ways they didn't really know what they were doing. They just sort of trusted where their heart was leading them. This is a really interesting person. I love this person. They kind of remind me of like a George Lucas in some ways. You know, like they kind of like bumping around in the dark, not really knowing what the hell he was doing. And in doing it, he just always followed his heart. And in following his heart, he created a billion-dollar industry. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't have to like the movies, or I'm just saying, like, in terms of the motivation of the person, it was just to be happy, to follow in faith, to trust, you know, wherever their heart took them. And it led them right into love and wealth. And they did this sort of on their own. This is definitely a leader. I don't know if they were motivated to lead, but ultimately this person became a leader. This person became somebody that a lot of people admired and look up to. And this is Tiger. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. In a lot of ways, they are a lone wolf. They walk alone. They're not alone though. They are definitely protected. People love them, but ultimately they're a leader, and they're not afraid to be alone. They're not afraid. In other words, they're an entrepreneur. they're like a trailblazer. This person's motivation. Why did they do it? Because they were called by spirit. That's eagle. Eagle is definitely spirit itself, right? Great spirit itself, calling them to set out on their path, and they just had this unstoppable faith in that call, in listening to the call. So this person's motivation was 100% spiritual calling, or just, and not necessarily like, I want to be a priest, I want to be Mother Teresa, though it could be Mother Teresa, but there is a sense of like, no, it's just listening to spirit and relentlessly always being really just tapped into spirit. This sort of like hope or light, this shining light that was always inside of them. They had a light inside themselves, and good luck. Ultimately, this is it. Maybe this is what it played out as. This is what it seemed like, that this person just had a bunch of good luck, but it wasn't. They created their good luck by literally relentlessly devoting themselves and listening to spirit and following the path that spirit put them on. Like, that's how they did it for themselves. It wasn't any other way. They were literally motivated by where they were. And that's what luck is so many times. It's following your heart. It's trusting your gut. And it's connecting to that universal truth, which seems like, oh, this person is just lucky. They're not. They're connected. They've allowed themselves to be unencumbered by all that confusion, and they've broken through the confusion by just following in faith. They really did. Maybe that's what it was. They broke through the confusion, right? They broke through the confusion by following in faith, by connecting with their karma or their purpose. Wow. Whoa. Damn. Check this out. What is this? Relentless pursuit of the impossible, like the dragon slayer. This person just going in and resolving something deep down inside themselves. This is really maybe what their motivation was deep down inside themselves. They had some sort of demons pushing them, not maybe literal, but some sort of hardship, sensitivity. They started out from a place of a lot of murkiness and a lot of confusion. They needed and wanted to clear their head. But there was just this relentless a sense of hope. Think sacral energy. Think that energy of just endless possibility and relentless hope. And that's what got them through the slaying of the dragons. This person had at least one bout in their life where they kind of had to like face death and look death in the eye. And then in some ways they could have been reborn in that moment and sort of resolved to live their life to the fullest from that day on. There was this resolution about them. They were resolved to not let anything get in their way. And it wasn't ambition that drove them. It was faith. It was faith. It was, I'm driven by purpose. That's what this person is. They're driven by purpose. And in a lot of ways, that's why they seem so lucky, but they're not lucky at all. They're just really tied into their universal truth. Group 4, I hope you love the reading. If you are so motivated and curious, check out some of the other piles. I love you guys. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your love and all your support. To all the zodiac signs who show up for my week ahead readings, thank you so much. I'm grateful. Check out these other pick a cards and see if you enjoy them. I'm going to keep coming out with this kind of this content because I actually love it. I think it's fun and I think it opens up the doors to a lot of possibilities, and I'm all about possibilities. So please do check out those other videos. Check out all the rest of the videos on my channel and catch me here live for messages from the moon. Messages from the moon happen every new moon and every full moon. So check that out. I come on live, stay on live for a couple of hours, sometimes 3 hours, with everybody just talking and doing predictions for each of the zodiac signs. So I'm a Cancerian sun and moon, so I'm really interested in tracking the moon, delivering its messages, and sharing its energy. So please do join me for that. And thank you so much. I will see you in the videos.